But a well-known conservative has come out against Arizona's controversial immigration law. Republican Representative Connie Mack is good enough to join us now. He's from Florida, and he compares the law, the one they tried in Arizona, to the Japanese-American internment camps during World War II, saying both are driven by fear and distrust. Obviously, there's a lot of people out there shaking their heads, listening to a Republican, keyword Republican here, like you, saying something like this. But you've actually written this op-ed piece that caught my attention. It's in the Washington Post. It's called "Why Conservatives Should Oppose Arizona's Immigration Law." And I've got a quote here from it. "I do not want to live in a nation where American citizens are asked, 'Where are your papers?' We are better than that." All right, here's Congressman Mack. He's joining us now live from Manchester, New Hampshire. Congressman, thanks so much to you, sir, and regards to your father, my former representative down in South Florida.
Thank you, Rick. Thanks for having me on, and I'll make sure to pass along to Dad you said hello.
All right. Now, this is interesting because here you've got a case of a guy who's a triple threat. If anyone should be deported, it's that guy, and yet we find ourselves in a situation with someone like you coming forward and saying, look, we can't let Arizona do something like this. If nothing else, for the sake of people like this, so they can be deported, what's wrong with Arizona doing what they do?
Well, first of all, you're right. This is a man who should be deported. My concern with the Arizona law is that it would severely hinder the freedoms and destroy the freedoms of some U.S. citizens, while others would have no risk of their freedoms being jeopardized. So someone who in Arizona who looked like me wouldn't worry about the law in Arizona. But other U.S. citizens, other Americans who don't look like me, Rick, they would have a worry about their freedoms being trampled on.
But Americans would be watching this conversation between ourselves and wondering most particularly about your responsibility. You're there, you're in Washington, you're one of the guys who has to step forward and come up with some set of ground rules so that we can move forward as a nation on immigration. And you guys, Congressman, haven't done that. Don't even seem like you're interested in doing it because you didn't do it in the last administration, you're not doing it in this one, and there's no signs you'll do it in the next one either.
You're right, Rick, and that is the frustrating point. Both sides, both Republicans and Democrats, this administration and past administrations have failed. The first order of business needs to be to secure the borders, both north and south. This needs to be a priority of not just Republicans or Democrats, but of the United States, of all the people of the United States. Without securing our borders, we cannot have the security we need and that the citizens of this country deserve. We must secure the border. Second, we need to have interior enforcement, the E-Verify, so that employers can verify whether or not someone is here legally when they're looking for a job, and if they're not, the employer needs to be punished for hiring people who are here illegally.
Well, let me just stop. But I want to stop you on that point because that's a hell of an important point that you just made. The emphasis, as we've discussed here on Rick's List, often is on the illegal immigrant. But do you believe that there's enough emphasis put on employers who are not only hiring these guys, but in some cases actually recruiting them? And why are some people in Washington not agreeing to all come together and say, from now on, you got to show a card saying you're legal before you get a job in the United States?
Again, I think this issue has been caught between the two parties fighting over amnesty. As a Republican, someone who believes in the rule of law and freedom, we do not believe that amnesty is the right way to go. The other side wants to have amnesty. Neither side is prepared to let the border security and employment verification go through without dealing with the amnesty issue. I think that's a mistake. America wants and deserves to have border security and employment verification. We can do those things. There is a mutual agreement on both sides. That should be the first order of business. Both sides needs to stop playing politics with this. And we need to come to the table and say we're going to secure our borders, both north and south, and we're going to ensure that the employers have the tools to verify that people are here looking for a job legally, and have punishments assigned to those employers who hire people here illegally.
Congressman Connie Mack, you're brazen to say what you just said, but I hope the American people heard you say it, and I expect that they're going to hold you to it, and that as we move forward, we'll start to see not words, but action from folks like you in Washington. I look forward to having many more conversations with you and others about this situation with immigration in the United States. Take care. Once again,
Thank you, Rick.
regards to your dad.